Alright, thanks for coming back and welcome to Blade Runner from 1982, starring Harrison Ford. So, the soundtrack for the movie is composed by Vangelis and directed by Ridley Scott. Pretty sure Vangelis is dead now. Never heard of him until I watched the movie. So now we get the Star Wars kind of important notice, and that replicants have taken over, while Blade Runners, which are kind of like the police or vigilantes, just think of Death Wish, think of Paul Kersey, who are ordered to kill these replicants. Since we are in Los Angeles in 2019, funny how it was 5 years ago and how it wasn't like this. Yeah, these 80s sci-fi movies tend to think what the future will be like, but that never happened in 2019. So it's nighttime here at this Tyrell Corporation, and we see this guy named Holden, played by Morgan Paul, smoking, and this prisoner or patient, or better yet, a replicant, played by Brian James, who was also in a bunch of other action movies in the 80s, and is asked to take some tests. And this happens. So he is a replicant, I was right, or the question was not appropriate enough for him to answer. And looks like we are in Chinatown or wherever, since we see a geisha on a big screen. Here we meet the main Blade Runner or officer himself, Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, as he reads the non-advanced newspaper. Well, some things don't change, and looks like he was born very early. That means he's used to paper copies of newspapers. So now he's hungry, gets some food, and now we see these two guys wanting to arrest him. And that one of those guys is Gaff, played by Edward James Olmos. He is a cop, by the way, a funny looking one. And don't they know he's a cop? But he is being asked that a Captain Bryant sent them. And at this point, it's starting to look like that video game Cyberpunk from 2020, which I've played a little bit of, haven't played much of it. And here we meet Captain Bryant, played by M. Emmett Walsh, who also died this year, along with Carl Weathers and, what's that guy from Blade? Chris Christopherson, that's his name. So of course it wasn't an arrest, it's a calling for a new mission. So 4 replicants are on the loose. So Rick says it doesn't work here anymore, it doesn't work as a cop anymore, but he has no choice but to do his job as instructed by Captain Bryant. So far it's sci-fi mixed with 80s, 70s police themed movies like Dirty Harry or even Code of Silence. Okay, so Captain Bryant explains to Rick the mission and that this is one of the replicants that is causing problems in the city. So his name is Leon, and here's his info on the screen. The same replicant that we saw in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Here we see Roy Batty, a recent replicant, the leader of all replicants in the town, as well as Zora. And lastly, the 4th and final replicant, Pris, and all are part of the Nexus 6 replicant group, which is like a new technology that was developed by the Tyrell Corporation. So now he's headed to the Tyrell Corporation as mentioned, and now that he's here looking around, here we meet Rachel with an A in the middle, played by Sean Young, who is somewhat of a replicant who Rick Deckard somehow falls in love with, a robot, but we don't know for sure if he's actually a robot or a human, maybe both. And here we meet Mr. Eldon Tyrell himself, the CEO and founder of the corporation, played by Joe Turkel. So now they get straight to business inside the Egyptian pyramid, like welcome area. Now he's doing the same test that was given to that replicant, Leon, posed by Holden. This is all part of the investigation for Rick to conduct to see if all replicants act the same. Since Rachel is a new prototype, I guess, for, I think they mentioned Nexus 7, which is kind of weird.
You're reading a magazine, you come across a full-page nude photo of a girl.
Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard?
Just answer the questions, please.
Funny. Well, so far she passed the test, and now Eldon Tyrell wants to speak to Rick Deckard by himself.
Commerce is our goal here in Tyrell. More human than human is our motto.
Great motto, by the way. I don't think I hear the word motto these days. I hear slogans a lot, but I don't hear the word motto. So she answered the questions well, as she has no memories. Makes sense, because according to Deckard, memories cause emotions, which he doesn't have. So Rick has left the Tyrell Corporation while listening to Leon Holden's recording again of the test from earlier to identify the hotel where Leon lives at, as he mentioned it earlier. So now he's at Leon's house, the replicant from the 5 minutes of the movie. And oh yeah, Gaff over here, played by Edward James Olmos. I think I mentioned that. I guess he is Deckard's colleague now in the movie since he's been coming along everywhere. He doesn't speak much. He's like one of those quiet partners that you bring along with you on a police mission. So Gaff finds a tooth or a nail, whatever that is, in the tub as Rick continues to look around and see some more pictures inside his drawer. Here we meet the head replicant that was shown earlier himself at the Blade Runner HQ, Roy Batty, played by Rutger Hauer, who surprisingly died in 2019, the same year where this movie takes place in.
Time. Enough.
Maybe it was meant to be, I don't know. Funny how the main villain of the movie died in the same year where this movie takes place in. 2019 here, 2019 5 years ago. He is a Dutch actor, he's not American if that's what you're thinking. So here we see Leon again, and that he needed to grab the photos that was found by Rick in that drawer. So they go in here what looks like an old restaurant, and here we see the scientist Hannibal Chu. Well, according to IMDb, since I forgot his name, or I don't think his name's even mentioned once. But he's played by the famous James Hong. I think his name here is in reference to that Anthony Hopkins movie, which I've never heard of until I searched it up. And now he is pulled around and starts yelling in Chinese as Roy Batty continues to speak. So Chu tells Roy that Tyrell is responsible for all this replicant technology since his coat's been ripped off. James Hong's over here. And to make him talk since it is pretty cold inside the lab. So Chu tells Roy and Leon that a J.F. Sebastian can take them to the Tyrell Corporation. So we see Rick Deckard driving normally on the road again. I say normal because all we've seen are flying cars and not a single car on the ground so far. That's what I mean by normal driving. As he enters his apartment and takes the elevator. Well, that's creepy. How does she know where he lives? So he lets her in. Okay, so Rachel tries to convince Rick that she's not a replicant, and he starts to test her again if she has memories. And as we know, as mentioned by Rick, at the corporation, replicants have no memories since she is claimed to be created a few days ago according to Mr. Tyrell earlier. So now she's crying, but okay, that's weird. I thought replicants don't cry.
No, really. I'm sorry.
And as she runs away, and Rick spots the picture she dropped, and now he reviews the picture found at Leon's apartment, or pictures. And now we meet Pris, played by Daryl Hannah, walking around. I think she's homeless. And here comes J.F. Sebastian himself, as mentioned by James Hong, played by William Sanderson, as he bumps into her. And now they talk to each other, and now she wants something from him.
I'm hungry, J.F.
I got stuff inside. You want to come in?
Oh, you idiot. And now he takes her upstairs and explains her his job, which is a genetic designer. So he contributed his part to designing the replicants. And here we meet his toys. Looks like he wasn't kidding around about toys being his friends, literally. So Rick is now bored using his piano, or playing his piano, and has a flashback of a horse and is now looking carefully at one of the pictures. And after listening to all those specific picture areas, he sees a woman or a dude in women's clothing. It's hard to tell from this coordinate he gave to the picture, I guess, identifier. I don't know what that is. But yeah, technology has pretty much advanced here in 2019, surprisingly, even though we've never seen anything like that back then. So Rick prints out a copy in that boat, and that tooth-like chip that was found in Leon's apartment's bathroom matches the one this body has on the earrings or wherever. So now he takes the chip to a local Chinese fish place, and the lady finds a serial number, and that it's actually a snake scale, and recommends to go see a Abdul bin Hassan. And now Rick is at some Arabian spot in LA and meets with the Abdul bin Hassan himself and wants to know who he sold it to. And at this point, Hassan is playing games as Rick grabs his tie and tells him that a Taffy Lewis has purchased this. That was part of a bigger product that he sold. And now Rick enters his bar/club and asks for Taffy Lewis, and now questions him about the purchase of a snake. Yeah, a real snake. And Taffy denies it, and now Rick is offered a drink. Okay, so as Rick enjoys his drink here, he looks at the picture of Rachel and her mother again, still questioning that she is a replicant or not. You can tell Rick is already, infatuated by her.
Taffy Lewis is on the line. Why don't you come on down here and have a drink?
I don't think so, Mr. Deckard.
So he video calls her and she refused to come down.
That's disgusting.
And now he waits for the Miss Salome, who is actually Zora, the third replicant that was announced earlier, and pretends to be an American Variety artist. Or Rick pretends to be part of an American Variety corporation as an artist. But yeah, we've met all 4 replicants as mentioned by Captain Bryant earlier. This is the 4th and final one. And now he wants to search her room for supposed holes. And now she goes for a shower and finds a snakescale scarf, as well as a real snake. And now she has her suspicions about Deckard. And now runs away as he tries to shoot her while on foot, and he does shoot her in some places. It looks like she's killed, and there goes the first replicant, as Leon is watching while Rick shows his badge to identify himself as a cop. So now he gets a bottle, and here's Gaff again that Captain Brian wants to see Rick again. So here's Captain Brian tells Rick that Rachel has disappeared, and here is Leon beating up Rick as Rachel has successfully killed him.
Time to die.
And now the two are back at Rick's apartment as he splashes water onto his face. Rachel asks for a specific question, and now he walks to the living room. And now she asks another question about the test, and that was given to the replicants earlier. Now he lays down on the couch after that beating from Leon. And now Rachel starts to play the piano while opening up her and Rick joins in. And he just kissed a robot, a replicant, or whatever that thing is, and walks away. Or she walked away. Yeah, sex robots are the future now. And now he does this to keep her here and continues. So here we see Pris again, spraying black paint on her face, or on her eyes, as we see J.F. Sebastian resting on his chair, surrounded by his friends. Someone's super jealous. So J.F. Sebastian is actually 25 and looks older than his age, as Roy Batty walks in and he tells her that Zora has been killed. And who knows what happened to Leon? I don't know what. Oh yeah, she what's her name? Rachel killed him in front of Rick. Never mind. And now they all relax in Sebastian's home and reveal they're part of a Nexus 6 as they want help.
We're so happy you found us.
So back at the Tyrell Corporation, Sebastian brings Roy and Pris with him, and then we see Mr. Tyrell as he's in his rooms and sees that JF Sebastian is here and uses to send Tyrell a code message through chess moves. So JF Sebastian brings in the two with him as Roy wants to live longer and wants the necessary tools for that to happen. And now Roy hasn't got any way of living. What the hell is he doing? Okay, so he's killing him, and there goes Eldon Tyrell. And Sebastian has seen it and runs away. Back on the road as Rick Deckard is on his way to his next scene of the crime and now calls in one of JF Sebastian's colleagues, and looks like Pris answered it and declined it. She probably knows Rick Deckard for sure, and these German kids try to destroy his car and drives off. Alright, so Rick has entered JF Sebastian's apartment building and walks up to his room and looks around, and we see all the toys again. Here you can see there clearly in the middle that Pris is pretending to be a toy fooling Rick. Holy shit. She tries so hard to do the whole GoldenEye routine here, the Xenia Onatopp thing with the legs. Even though this movie came out way before that one. I don't have to tell you that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So he shoots Pris, and what the hell is she doing, man? So he shoots her twice again, and finally she's dead after having that seizure. So Roy Batty spots Pris's body and a dude is kissing her while she's dead. How desperate you gotta be. So he's the only loose replicant left out of the 4 that went missing. 3 of them are dead. So Roy grabs Rick's hand and cracks his fingers for, torture for killing all of his, for both female replicants, but not a crack for Leon. Wow, some friend you are. Now something's happening to Roy as he sticks this black piece through his hand and now sticks his head through the wall. So weird as it is, while Rick is running as Roy's looking for him with his shirt off. So Rick escapes to the ledge of the building and now climbs up to the roof and jumps towards the opposite building to avoid Roy. And now he can't get up as Roy joins in. And now Roy surprisingly saves Rick. And now we see the death of Roy Batty, Nexus 6. Alright, so replicants may look like humans, but they don't follow the human lifespan, if that makes sense. So, if you're a replicant, you look like human, and you live maybe like less than 5 years. And these guys were created maybe in 2016, 2017, according to Tyrell or Rick or Captain Bryant. I don't remember who said that exactly. But they don't follow the human lifespan. So we see Gaff again, and he tells Rick that Rachel may not live, and goes looking for her at Rick's apartment in the last 2 minutes of the movie. And he finds her under this blanket, and now they leave as she steps on this silverish origami looking thing. Yeah, that was a weird movie. And that's it, Blade Runner from 1982. A lot of weird names to remember, a lot of everything to remember. It's kind of complicated if you're one of those first-time viewers. I still have to watch the sequel from 2017 or 2018 with Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas. But yeah, everyone has seen the sequel, but they've never seen this movie. Well, especially young people today have seen the sequel. But that's it from me. Stay tuned for the Mechanic from 2011 episode, Jason Statham. And like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video and click on the notification bell. Take care. See you soon. Watch away. Make sure to watch Blade Runner from 1982 if you've seen the 2017 already. You always have to watch the first one to understand the second one. Enjoy and take care.